Hello, everyone. Welcome into the weekly mailbag. I am Matt Verderame, and this is the Arrowhead Addict podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, you already know that. If you're listening on Twitter, well, you know the drill probably at this point by now. You can listen on Twitter and ask questions in the chat there. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. And yes, of course, you can ask questions in the chat as well. And I'm just going to go back and forth as I normally do. But before answering questions, look, a couple thoughts on this game, because I know 99% of the questions are going to be about the Chiefs, and that's fine. Obviously, I talked for 4 hours yesterday after the game. I have a lot of thoughts on different aspects of it. I thought yesterday the reason the Chiefs lost that game was because they did not execute, and the Bengals did, and that sounds really obvious. Sometimes obvious is the answer. The Chiefs did not do the simple things that the Bengals did do. The Bengals didn't turn the ball over. The Chiefs did. The Bengals didn't miss a kick. The Chiefs did. The Chiefs ran the ball very effectively, but in big spots, completely went away from it. First and 10 at the 40-yard line, 4 minutes to go. You've got the ball. You need to milk the clock. You need to milk the clock, and you need to score a touchdown. And the Chiefs went down the field and got to the 40 by way of 2 runs, by the way, and decided to go throw, miss a field goal. I don't know. And Jason, yes, the show will be recorded, man. You're all set. Look, I think at some point, you've got to be realistic about things. The Chiefs are who they are DNA-wise. They just want to throw the ball. They had a lot of balance in yesterday's game. I was happy to see that. But when it came to nut crunching time, the Chiefs immediately went away from it. They went away from it down the red zone far too often. They went away, which led to one field goal, by the way. They went away from it at the very end of the game. Those are the kinds of things, it's working all game. Just stick with it. But I actually am much more focused today on the defense. I thought the defense stunk. The defense played like they were scared to death of Cincinnati. Scared to death of them. I saw somebody put out, I can't remember for the life of me who it was. It might have been Zach Eisen. So there's 14 missed tackles in the game for the Chiefs, which is an enormous number. Honest to Christ, I thought the Chiefs missed over 30 tackles yesterday. If you went back and watched, I bet you could reasonably get close to 30 tackles. They couldn't tackle anybody. They could not tackle anybody throughout the course of the game. The scheme was terrible. They sat in a soft zone. Look, whether Steve Spagnuolo wants to admit it to himself, to the world, whoever, or not, the Chiefs' strength defensively are their corners. They are their corners. Trent McDuffie is blossoming into a superstar level player. He truly is. L'Jarius Sneed is a very, very good corner. Joshua Williams is a good young corner. He's not the level of the other 2 guys. He's a good young corner. And they've got Jalen Watson as a 4th corner, who's a good player. The Chiefs should be lining up in man. They should be lining up in man. They should be aggressive in that coverage. They play like they're terrified of these corners. They're terrified. And the safeties yesterday just stunk. There's no other way to say that. The safeties stunk. They were terrible all game long. Juan Thornhill, Juan Thornhill missed a million tackles in that game. I think he was credited with 2 missed tackles. I honestly thought he had 10. He was atrocious. Justin Reed was not as bad, but certainly was not good enough to play the way he played after all that he said. When you play like that, when you miss tackles, when you have an ineligible man downfield wiping out a 34-yard gain on 3rd and 15, when you miss a field goal, when situationally you're a disaster over and over and over on 3rd down defensively, when you commit penalties that give the other team a 1st down, you lose. The Chiefs have lost their last 3 games to the Bengals all by a field goal. And in all those games combined, the Bengals have 1 time taken a penalty to give the Chiefs a 1st down. The Chiefs have done it 10 times in those games. The Bengals have 1 turnover in those games. Chiefs have 3. The Chiefs have sacked Joe Burrow twice in their last 2 meetings. Combined. Twice. Against one of the worst offensive lines in football. Can't get home. Can't do anything. At some point, you lose. They botched the end of a half They have had a kickoff return nullified that was a touchdown on a penalty. They have dropped a pass that would have gone for 60 yards right in their hands, Tyreek Hill. Like, at some point, when you play really good teams, you have to play really well, or you are going to lose. And the Chiefs do not play well for whatever the reason when they play Cincinnati. Now, part of that is give Cincinnati a lot of credit. They're a very good team. They make you play very well because they're very well coached. They don't beat themselves. The Chiefs consistently beat themselves in these games. They have played 12 games this season. They have had a game without a turnover 2 times. It's a mess. And a lot of games they get away with it because they're just better than the other team. But when you are going against another really good team and you have a negative turnover differential, NFL history says you're losing that game a minimum of 80% of the time. Well, guess what? Against Buffalo and Cincinnati this year, the Chiefs, negative turnover differentials. You're going home. You're losing. You're losing. You're going home. Too many mistakes. Too many coaching decisions that nobody can understand. The way they played defense yesterday was insane. Insane. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's just fire Steve Spagnuolo. That's too much of a knee-jerk reaction. But I would say this. These last 5 games, I don't even care what their record is. They've got to clean up the turnovers, and they've got to start playing more man coverage. And if they don't do that, they're losing in January. I don't know to who or where or what round they will lose. Because you're not beating good teams like this. You're just not. You're not beating great quarterbacks playing a soft zone, rushing for the whole game, just living in your fears. And that is the way the Chiefs have played. The Chiefs play like they are terrified of the other team. You're not going to win playoff games like this. Get in man, stop turning the ball over, sort out the special teams, figure it out. That's where I would leave it. That's where I would leave it. All right. Now, there are a lot of comments today. So I'm going to do the best I can to hit them all. I can't promise anything. There are a ton. All right. I'm going to start at the beginning. You can roll from there. All right. This OBJ experiment hasn't gone well. He should have taken the money. I'm glad he didn't. How does this offseason play out? Brandon, I'll tell you what, man. I think it's one of 2 ways. They're tagging him or he's walking because they're not signing him long-term after this season. I think you probably, because they have a lot of cap space, my guess is that they would tag him. I do not think they are offering him a long-term deal. That would be my guess, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if he walks. But I think I know going into the year the thought was in the building that the Chiefs were going to tag him. How much has that changed after what we've seen? I don't know. Benjamin, move OBJ to right tackle. I mean, look, I've said you could think about it. You could definitely think about it. And then kick Tooney outside and put Allegretti at guard. You could. You mean you pay Tooney like he's a damn tackle. You could. I don't think they're going to, but is it worth having the conversation? I think it's worth having the conversation. Michael Antonio, they lost because of the little things. If Kelsey hangs on to the ball, KC wins. Too much carelessness. Yeah, look, I don't know if they would have won or not because they were at the 50-yard line. Like, they weren't at the 1-yard line. They may not have scored. But, yeah, I probably agree with you. You lose in this league when you are against other really good teams because you make mistakes. The Bengals did not make a big mistake outside of Boyd dropping that pass. And I would argue, frankly, that pass never should have happened because it was pass interference. I mean, Chase basically ran a pick like he was a small forward. I thought justice was served on that play, frankly. But yes, the Chiefs are the ones who, look, you have a huge interception that turns the whole tide of the game early on, penalty. You get incompletion, 2nd down 10, it's penalty. Now, those calls, you can argue them, fine, but they are what they are. In the rule book, they're penalties. You've got to, at some point, you've got to stop beating yourselves. The Chiefs are masters at putting themselves in bad spots. For all the talent that team has, how many times they blow somebody out? These games are always like left up to the imagination. Kyle, this reminds me of the 90s when Dallas and 49ers had a rivalry and then the Packers emerged and for some reason just had the Niners number for years. Yeah, it's not bad. See that? The Chiefs don't execute against Cincinnati. Part of that, give credit to Cincinnati. Part of that is I think the Chiefs, it's a boogeyman. They're in their heads. All right, Raymond, is it too much to expect this DB group, as young as they are, to cover a great receiver room? No, it's their job. Go out there and cover somebody. That's your job. That's why you're paid millions of dollars. Go out there and cover. And by the way, I thought they covered really well in this game. Their problem is they couldn't get a pass rush, and they sat in zone all game long. Somebody with more time than me, go chart what Burrow's numbers were against man coverage in that game yesterday. I bet you they were nothing special. He killed them in zone coverage. Killed them. When you sit and spot drop 7 guys and you don't get home, you're dead. And guess what? Dead. Dead in a big way. 6 incompletions all game. All right. Why do you think Reed just stops running the ball in close late game scenarios? Because it's not in his DNA, Truman. That's why. Because his DNA is such that he wants to throw the ball. Whenever they get in a tight spot, they go away from running the football. They're terrified to do it. They actually did what I wanted them to do yesterday for most of the game, which was have a really nice balance. But at the end of that game, when the chips were down, they just defaulted to, we're going to throw it. And guess what? Guess we got him again, guys, on that last third down play where everybody thought McKinnon was open. What did the Bengals play? They dropped 8 guys. They dropped 8 guys and said, go ahead, Kansas City, throw it. Got sacked. Butker, keep or not? Yeah, look, they're going to keep him. I mean, I'm not going to get he's the least of their problems. He's not been great this year. He's the least of their problems. Their bigger problems on special teams is catching a punt, returning anything. Should have never tried a 55-yard field goal. Yeah, I agree. Even if they hit it, they would have lost. It's almost like Andy scripts the entire game and refuses to change regardless of the play down distance. It is so frustrating. Yeah, I agree. They just have this thing where they're going to play their way and they don't care about anything else that's going on. Like, they want to play their way, their style, and they're going to do it no matter what. Let's see. I think he I saw a lot of people bashing Jay Williams and thought he played fine. I thought he played fine too. What, are you going to get on Joshua Williams because he was put on an island in one-on-one coverage against Jamar Chase and gave up a catch or two? I mean, he was fine. I thought Joshua Williams played really well in that game. You know what, too? Here's another thing. You have 2 safeties who couldn't tackle me yesterday, okay? Here's an idea. Why don't you get in man and double those outside receivers? Honestly. Why don't you do that once? I mean, some of this stuff is just basic football. Like, I don't understand why they're so beholden to the idea that, nope, got to spot drop 7, have to do it. It's a dumb way to play football. But, and I'm going to get to this in a second because I see a couple questions ahead. There's a lot more than just Spags here. So is it time to let Spags go? I want him gone. No, I don't think it's time to let him go. I don't. I think he's on the whole a good coordinator, but he has games that I'll just never understand. The Chiefs need a new OC. I mean, it's not going to change anything. Reed runs the offense. They could hire me as their offense coordinator. It's not going to make any difference. Let's see. So Mike says, Spags is fine. He doesn't tackle the players. Now, see, look, I kind of fall in the middle on this. So I think it's really easy to scapegoat the coach all the time. But he's terrible. He had a bad scheme. Look, I didn't agree with the way they played this. I thought they played like they pissed down their leg defensively. They looked like they were playing the 99 Rams. They backed up so much they almost had to get tickets. I mean, it was unbelievable how scared they were of Cincinnati yesterday. Excuse me. That being said, I agree with Mike. Like, Steve Spagnuolo is not the one out there missing tackles all over the field. He's not one of the linebackers who's terrified to shoot a gap in that game yesterday. I mean, Samaje Perine, how many times did he hit the hole and the Chiefs are like 3 yards away from it because they're not aggressive? I blame Spags for going more zone than man. I just do not understand it. I got news for Spags. Your best players on this team, or at least your best group, are young kids. They're corners. Their corners are the strength of their team. McDuffie is a budding superstar level player. He really is. Go watch him. Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson and L'Jarius Sneed, they are really good players. Get in man coverage. Get in man coverage. You are going to get your teeth kicked in playing zone against good quarterbacks. Your pass rush is not good enough. If you get man and you're aggressive in it, it allows you to blitz. Yes, you'll occasionally get beat over the top. You know what? Fine. You have a great offense. Who cares if you get beat over the top once? You will get the points back. The entire ethos of the defense should be to force takeaways and negative plays. That should be the whole thing. They shouldn't give a shit about anything else. Completion percentage, yardage, none of it. The only thing they should care about, negative plays, third down and red zone, takeaways. That's it. And they're average on third down. They're terrible taking the ball away. They are the worst red zone team in football. Pass rush is hit and miss, although this year, for the most part, until yesterday, it's been pretty good. Okay? That's all they should care about. I wouldn't give a shit about anything else. I wouldn't care about the yards per carry against. I wouldn't care about whether or not how many yards are given up. Take the ball away, turn 7 into 3s, get off the field on third down, and get some negative plays. And if you do that, you're going to win. You have an offense that scores 30 points a game. You don't do any of those things well, you back up. And the Chiefs are mortified to be aggressive defensively against good quarterbacks. They're absolutely terrified. By the way, one time this year it worked because they did it once. The first half of the game against the Bills, they blitzed the hell out of Josh Allen. And you know what he did? He went 4 for 12 when they blitzed him. And they went away from it in the second half because they were terrified to put these young corners in a spot, and they lost the game. And they were absolutely aghast at the idea of putting any pressure on Burrow and making him throw into a tight window. And by the way, he's going to hit some of those. But if you're not willing to at least challenge the guy, you have no chance. You are going to lose. Simple as that. All right. Let's get back to the questions. Let's see. Okay. So let's go. I'm scrolling through. There's a lot of comments. Thank you guys for all being here. I'm just trying not to miss any of them. Okay, kind of off topic. I know you love the history of the NFL, Matt. What franchise no longer exists that you'd bring back? Cody? Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers would be fun. Stacy, buy or sell? The Bengals are a bad matchup because the Chiefs don't like having their offensive strategy dictate to them. I buy it 100%, man. I think you're bang on as usual. By the way, Stacy's got an article coming out tomorrow on Arrowhead Addict. Read it. Okay, one of the smartest people I know that knows football. Yeah, I buy it. I think, look, the Chiefs, they want to, I said it earlier, they want to play a certain way. They want to play their way. And if they can't do it, they're going to force it anyway. Like, that's the way they are, especially in big pressure spots. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. They don't like when they play the Bills, the game is such that it's pretty wide open. I think it's easier for the Chiefs to play like that. When the Bengals sit there and say, you're not going to play like that. You're not going to do that. You're going to have to go in drips and drabs. And the Chiefs they kick and scream and fight it. They don't want to do it. I agree. Chandler, how can the Chiefs fix their tackles on the offense and fix their edge and one all season? The draft. And they've got a lot of cap space. But, I mean, the draft. They're going to have to draft guys. I think the edge rush, I actually think Karlaftis has played much better recently. But the draft. You're going to have to find guys in the draft. That's how they fix the interior of their offensive line for the most part with Humphrey and Smith. Alan, good Monday morning, Matt. How you doing, Alan? Why is Andy so bad at time management? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't ever look at the clock. I mean, I wish I had a better answer. I don't know. He's been bad at it for 25 years. Let's see. How long do we need to give Spags? Asked John Lewis. He is not a highly sought-after coach for a reason. Spags doesn't make this defense special. Look, he's a very good coordinator in terms of if he got fired tomorrow, 20 teams would want him as coordinator. The problem with Spagnuolo is he is very beholden to who he is, which is true of a lot of coaches. But yesterday in a game where it was obvious, plain as day, they were not going to win that game playing the way they were playing early. Doesn't change. They just sat in that coverage all game long. Got him killed. Let's see. We played better than last year. We didn't let Chase go for 200 yards. I mean, bro, I got to tell you, if that's your bar, and that's a pretty fucking low bar. And by the way, they held Chase down the AC Championship game too. They didn't make any positive steps yesterday. That game was a rerun of the first two games. How many times we have to say the defense is the problem. And it has been ever since. With a top 10 defense, they could have won 4 Super Bowls. Yeah, look, I don't expect them to be a top 10 defense because when you play the way the Chiefs play, you're going to give up yardage, you're going to give up points. I don't have a problem with that. Again, and I'm not going to go into the same rant again. My problem is the way the Chiefs play. You should be ultra aggressive defensively. You know you're going to score 30 points. Just go after the other team. Force mistakes, and the Chiefs are just. I'm be honest with you guys. Yesterday was the first time watching the Chiefs defensively, and I can't remember. I couldn't tell you the last time I felt this way. They looked fucking terrified. I mean, they looked like we know we're not going to get home. We know we can't cover anybody. We're just going to hold on for dear life and pray the Bengals make a mistake or two. I mean, they looked horrified. By the way, the one play in that game with the Chiefs were really, really aggressive. It was the best defensive play of the game. It was Carlos Dunlap near the goal line. He was aggressive. He took a shot, and he made a great play. The Chiefs are horrified when they play good quarterbacks. They're horrified of them. They back up. They play soft. They do everything you shouldn't do against a quarterback that's got talent. It kills them. And they got Frank Clark after the game. We didn't have our best effort today. That's great. That's awesome. Well, when's that coming? June? I'll never understand it. Did you see Philly, Dallas, and Cleveland versus Titans, Colts, and Bengals, respectively? Why can't we do that? Why is Andy consistently unprepared and refuses to put the pedal to the metal? It's a great question. I don't know why. I mean, you think about the games this year with the Chiefs. White-knuckling it against the Raiders. Same with the Chargers twice. Okay? They lose to the Colts, they lose to the Bengals, they lose to the Browns. The only games they really took it to the other team. The Cardinals they killed in week 1. The Buccaneers they beat pretty good. That was probably the best game they played all year, honestly. It was a Tampa game. The Jacksonville game, they didn't play great, but it was never really in doubt. So I kind of put that game in the middle. Like they had 3 turnovers, but they also were never like in doubt of losing the game. Tennessee game was terrible, even though they won. The Rams game, I mean, it kind of like the Jacksonville game. Did not play well, but like also you never thought they were going to lose. But I'm with you, Mighty. Like, how about going out this weekend and beating the hell out of Denver? Like, how about winning that game like 35-7? How about it? But I got to tell you, I am fully prepared to have an aneurysm watching that game. As they are up 13-10 going into the fourth quarter. I am 100% ready for it because it's going to happen. The ego of this team is insane to me. How they play on the field and talk on Twitter, they act like they have no chance of losing games, coaches included. Yeah, well, they should know they have a chance now because they've lost again to the same team. Why wasn't there any blitz from the outside? I don't think they should have blitzed yesterday. Burrow is a damn good quarterback, but you can play aggressive without blitzing. You can get in a man. You can get on the line of scrimmage. You can challenge guys. You can get into their chest. Chiefs did none of it. Terrified. Absolutely terrified. Still dreaming. Hey, Matt, is it safe to say that they have good DBs, but you won't know it because Spags is in zone? I believe they are good. Is it safe to say that? You're the best of real. So, hey, man, thank you very much. The corners are good. Yes. The Chiefs cornerbacks are really good. Like McDuffie and Snead, that's one of the better pairings in the NFL. But Spagnuolo knows that they're young guys, and he's terrified to put too much on their plate. And his answer to that is to just put them in zone coverage. Guys, I'm telling you right now, and I take no pleasure in saying this, if they do this in the playoffs, they're going to get their asses kicked. They're going to lose. Any team that can throw the ball is beating them if they do this. It is an unsustainable way to play pass defense. It is a ridiculous way to play defense. They do not have the personnel for it. Their personnel is to play man. Their personnel is to get up on the line of scrimmage and play man coverage. And if they're going to insist on doing this, their asses are going home. I don't know if it'll be the wild card round, divisional round, championship. I don't know. But they will come up against a team that will just absolutely smoke them throwing the football. And as great as Mahomes is, it's going to take everything he has to win the game. And look, you can't rely on that every week. You might get it once. You're not going to get that 2-3 times in a row. Nobody's done that 2-3 times in a row. Sam, we can cut Frank Clark after the season without too much dead cap, right? Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, they'll save $19 million. He is gone. Quentin, what up, Matt? Really love your takes, bro. Thank you. Just wanted to show you some love. Appreciate that. I need that after talking about this game for 4 hours and now this show. Mighty, how do we have a million years to figure out the Bengals since they beat us twice? We still fail to do it anyway. I mean, ask the coaching staff. They still can't figure out how to guard the Bengals. They still can't figure out how to deal with an 8-man drop coverage. I mean, every time the Bengals dropped 8 yesterday, she said absolutely no idea how to beat it. None. Had no clue what to do. If I were the Bengals, I'd drop 8 every single play if they played Chiefs in the playoffs. The Chiefs are just absolutely perplexed by it. I mean, of course, the answer is about as simple as it gets. Just run the football. They don't want to run the football. They get bored running the football. It's not a magic show running the football. So it's got to. I mean, look at the one play they actually did run on this play, but it was the play I wanted to actually go out my window watching. Second and goal. I think they were at the 4-yard line. It was the beginning of the third quarter. I believe it was first drive, second half. They're running the ball at will the entire drive. Second and 4, McKinnon and Mahomes in the gun, sidecar for McKinnon. And they trot Mahomes out in the motion. Like, now the Bengals know we can just we can run an engage 11 here because Mahomes is not catching the ball and McKinnon's not throwing it. And of course he does, and he runs for no gain. It's the kind of thing that you're like, why? You're running them over. Just hand the ball off like a normal team. Nope, not the Chiefs. Can't be bothered. Just can't do it. Cannot do it. Cannot be a normal football team for even one drive. Like, it just, because it's not fun enough. It's not exciting enough. It's not going to be a top 10 play on SportsCenter. So I can't do that. I always feel that way. I think some of it with them is they love to have the show. Maxwell, Chiefs, rest of the season, they went out. Yeah, I think despite all their issues against Cincinnati, I think they probably do. Because everybody else they play, I think they're just going to beat. But I'll tell you right now, out of these 5 games, they should blow out 4 of these teams. They will maybe win one of them, maybe 2 of them by blowout. They will make everybody sweat it out to the death against the Broncos in one of these games and the Raiders. Stacy, Truth asks, what do you think of the BS roughing the passer penalty? Look, I hate the way it's called. By the letter of the law, I think the official's right, but that rule's just got to get taken out of the game. I don't blame the official. He's doing his job. I blame the NFL. It's a horrible rule. And quarterbacks tell you that. Stacey, is the defense getting a bad rap? After the Bengals went up 14-3, they went punt, downs, field goal, TD, end of game. Seems like that was enough. Well, look, man, I mean, Stacey, you and I, obviously, we know each other. You're a buddy of mine. I respect where you're coming from, but no, I don't think they're getting a bad rap, dude. Like, they gave because you started that with after they gave up 14 points. I mean, they gave 14 points, are immediately in a hole. It changes the whole way the game's played. No, I don't think they're getting a bad rap. I don't. Now, I do think they were better as the game went on in portions of it. But you know what, too? I'm a big believer. Like, when you've got to have it, you've got to have it. The year they won the Super Bowl, that defense was not always great. But one thing about them, you go back and look, when that defense had to have it, they had it, man. They did it. This defense had to have it against the Colts, couldn't do it. Had to have it against the Bills, couldn't do it. Had to have it against the Chargers a couple weeks ago, could not do it. Needed the offense to bail them out. Had to have it against the Bengals, couldn't do it. Couldn't stop them on either one of those last 2 drives. Like, that's why you're paid. That's why you're there. Get off the field. They can't do it. Where was Sky Moore yesterday? Doing what you and I were doing, not catching a pass, not being targeted for one either. Maxwell, I feel like we can either rest and get fit by winning against these bad teams, or we will get lazy and mess up in the or will we get lazy and mess up in the playoffs? Look, I'm in the minority with this. I want the Chiefs to win every game they play, but I'm gonna tell you guys something right now. I would be happier if they went 4-1, but they really got their shit together. Stop turning over, played more man, all that stuff. I'd be happier if they did that than if they went 5-0 and they keep turning the ball over and they just keep winning these sloppy games because they're more talented than these teams. Because to me, you've got to stop with this stuff. You have got to stop with the turnovers and the soft zone coverage. It's killing them. It's killing them. But I think they're going to win all these games. I do. I think they'll win these games. Let me make sure I'm not mistaken. All right, truth. The Bengals' offensive line doing anything schematically different against us compared to our teams? Not that I can see. I'm not an offensive line expert. I'll be the first to tell you that. But not that I see. I don't think there's anything like wildly different. Chris, is Thornhill gone after this year? And hey, Chris, how you doing, man? He seems to be making business decisions, or am I just imagining? I don't think it's a business decision. He just can't tackle anybody. He's a terrible tackler. He's good as a rover in coverage. He's good over the top. He can't tackle. I genuinely, honestly, God, I don't think it's a business decision. He just can't tackle anybody. As a Chief fan, this game was a strategic loss for the Kingdom. Well, then they executed brilliantly. I don't know why they would have lost that game on purpose, and God knows they didn't, but I don't know what to tell you. Jason, manage how we got torched against Jamar Chase the first time. So we go back to 34 points instead of 27 points. No, but Jason, they got torched in that game, not because they played man coverage, because they blitzed like crazy. Okay? They can play man and still double Chase. Man doesn't mean you can't double anybody. You're not always in cover zero. Like, the problem with the Chiefs in that game is they blitzed the daylights out of Burrow, and they got torched all afternoon. You've got to stop playing zone. It is a loser's game. I swear to you, if they stop playing zone, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see more turnovers, and you're going to see more sacks. I swear to you that's going to happen. But we're never going to find out because they're not going to do it because they don't want to play that way. It is what it is. Mighty says, Matt, it's his own defense that screwed us over. He's a defensive coordinator. He and Reed are responsible for fixing this defensive tackling. It's been horrible for 2 seasons now? 3. It's fair. I'm not going to defend any of it. You're right. I guess my feeling is with Spagnuolo, I do think he does a lot of positive things as well. But listen, I will put it this way. If this continues and they fired him after this season, you wouldn't hear me argue it. Okay? I'd put it that way. Because this defense is more talented than the way they play. Sometimes you look at a team and you just go, man, they're not that good. They're not that talented. They're not, they don't have the skill level. And that is not a coach's fault. That is a personnel problem. That is a GM's problem. This defense is talented. This is not a defense without talent. I'm not saying it's the 85 Bears, but this defense is talent. And they don't play like it a lot. And that absolutely is an indictment of Spagnuolo. Look, would I sit there and fire him tonight? No, I wouldn't. If they fired him after the season, would I lose my mind? No, I wouldn't. Okay, so let's see. Let's keep rolling. Would you have, Griswold Bright's asking, would you, if you were Veach, trade up for a left tackle or an edge next year? Yeah, I'd have no problem to trade up for a left tackle. I don't have a trade for an edge. I trade for a left tackle. Excuse me. Jason, 30 points would have won this one. I don't get your argument. Maybe the defense played okay and the offense didn't score enough points. No, man, the defense gave up 431 yards and forced 1 punt. They stunk. Now, I'm saying the offense is perfect. Kelsey fumbles the ball. They bog down in the red zone. They miss a field goal. Look, I'm not saying they were perfect either. They weren't. None of it was good enough yesterday in any of the 3 phases. But to me, defensively, get off the field, man. Can you ever force a punt? Can you ever get a turnover? Can you sack them once? It's just they don't ever make – the offense makes big plays. The defense never makes a key stop. It never gets a big takeaway, ever. You're always just white-knuckling it every time they're on the field, hoping to God they can make one play. So that's why I come down on them the way I do. Probability we see him again in the playoffs. I don't know. High. And probably at Arrowhead, by the way. I'll tell you right now, one team's going to go into that game very confident. The other one's going to go in there with a lot of doubt. Bump it with super chat. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Truly believe Mahomes gets the ball and we win. I agree too. 100%. When they went to the TV timeout, 2-minute warning, it was 3rd and 11. I said it to the old man at the time. I was on the phone. I said, if they stop them here, either kick a field goal, Chiefs are going to win this game. Didn't stop them. And to be fair, look, that's a play you have not heard me once criticize the defense. They got in a man. They got some pressure. Burrow made a phenomenal throw. And what are you going to do? Williams had great coverage. He made a great throw. And Higgins made a tough catch. That's, to me, that's what they should have been doing all game. You tip your cap. Hey, man, great play. But I'll tell you right now, Burrow's not doing that. It's 25 out of 31. He's not doing that. Nobody in the league is. Michael Antonio, are you a coach? You sound like a coach. No, I am not a coach. I minored in coaching in college, but no, I am not a coach. I minored in hockey coaching, by the way. Let me add that. No, but thank you. And by the way, I'm sure I say plenty of things. If Steve Spagnuolo was here, he'd be like, Here's why we do this way. I mean, I'm not naive enough to think there are some things I don't understand, but some of this stuff is just right to your face. I mean, it's right in your face. Um, all right, let me see. Let me keep rolling here. Um, Justin with a super chat. Thanks, man. Tired of seeing the staff and players be so careless and just thinking PM 15 will bail them out each week. Justin, I think you're not necessarily wrong, man. I don't obviously think like it's like an explicitly thought out thing, but I do believe with the Chiefs, there's absolutely a part of them that it's almost mentally built in. Like, listen, it's all right if we screw this up. We have him, we have Patrick. Yeah, it's all right if we give up big touchdown, 3rd and 17 against charge. It's cool. We have Patrick. You're just asking the guy to be perfect every week. Like, it's at some point, you're not going to be perfect every week. You're not going to be perfect. It's not. These guys, I mean, he's human. As great as he is, he's human. Doug and KS. Was it me, Matt? We weren't up for the game. We looked very sluggish. Defensively, it looked like they were in a coma most of the game. I agree. There was very little energy. I think they spent it all week long getting themselves hyped up for the game, then played like shit. AJ, thanks, man, for a super chat. Really appreciate you. Do you think if game day coaching wasn't an issue, they'd be 11-1 or 12-0? I think they'd be at least 10-2 because I don't think they would have lost to the Colts if not for just what was it, just a cataclysmic meltdown at all phases. Look, you're going to lose games, and they've lost. I mean, 2 of the games they lost were to 2 really good teams. Like, there's no shame in that. What was frustrating to me yesterday, like the Bills game didn't bother me. The Chiefs, look, they played well. The Bills came back at the end. It happens. It's football. Sometimes you get got. The Colts game was an abomination. The Bengals game to me falls in the middle of those because the Chiefs are a better team than Cincinnati, in my opinion. Now, they don't match up with them. The Bengals beat the brakes off when they play them. But I think the Chiefs are a better team. And the Chiefs, just for whatever the reason, and part of this is give Lou Anarumo a lot of credit. They do not execute well against Cincinnati. Cincinnati has their number. And I think part of it is the Bengals, they're very multiple defensively. They don't just drop 8. They do a lot of different things within it. You have to be well coached against them. You have to be patient against them. You have to be willing to play left-handed a little bit against them. The Chiefs are completely unwilling to do it in critical spots. They did it more yesterday with running the ball, but they did it. But when it's time, they don't want to play that way, and it kills them. It kills them. Joshua Turner, I asked a question a few weeks ago about Marino, and I saw that Mahomes agreed with you on the Kelsey podcast. 84 seasons, the best ever. It is. It's not even close. Mighty, are we really going to start having to say, let Mahomes cook? What was that field goal decision at the end of the game? I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean, that is, to me, I was irate before he even kicked the field goal. I didn't even care if he hit it because I knew how that was going to end. Even if he hits it, they're just going to give it up. Like, I don't know why in the world, a 3rd and 4 there, run the effing ball. Run the ball. And if you're short, who gives a shit? You got 4th down. The entire goal of that drive should have been to bleed as much clock as humanly possible off and score. And I get it. You're threading a difficult needle there. I understand that. But that's a position you were placed in. You had to do it. You know who did it really well last year? The Bengals against the Chiefs in Week 17. Go watch the end of that game. But the Bengals are coached well, and the Chiefs at times are, and at times are not. Okay. AJ, why do you think this team can never completely blow anybody out? Even the bad teams that they squeak by instead of murdering them like the Bills have done to some teams. I think part of it is by design. I think part of it is the Chiefs are very guarded. They don't want to give away certain things. You know, they try to get by with as little as possible. And maybe there's a benefit in that, but I will tell you right now, if they squeak by Denver on Sunday, I'm going to have an aneurysm. Show up and play better. How about those Chiefs? Hello. Hey, man. What's going on? Enjoy your work. Ken England says, Houday. Uday, man. Uday. The only Houday the Chiefs are the team that can't beat the Bengals, ever. How would you rate Trent McDuffie yesterday? Great. He was great. I thought he was the best player on the whole team yesterday. Matt Malloy. Burrow was like 6 or 7 against pressure and is one of the best QBs against pressure. Yeah, I wouldn't have blitzed him. Would have played man. I would not have blitzed him. I would have played man. I would have doubled the outside receivers. But I wouldn't have blitzed him. You're right. He's a great guy against the blitz. He's a great quarterback. Safe to say Burrow's top 3 quarterback. I mean, look, it's so hard with that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, look, if you said to me, who did you take one game on the line? I mean, I would take Mahomes. Maybe not against the Bengals, but I would take Mahomes. I might take Burrow second over Allen. I might. It's probably those 3. Yeah, it's probably those 3. I mean, Jalen Hurts has got a damn good case this year too, but Burrow's done it longer. Let's see. The Spags keep up with the modern NFL. The new QBs should get the ball in less than 2 seconds. Obvious indication for being faster on the outside of D. He's not drafting the guys, man. That's Veach. And I think Veach does a good job. He's not drafting the guys. Let's see. Mighty, we were 24-20 versus Cincinnati, and we fumbled. How many times did we just throw away chances to run away with the game? This happened versus Buffalo this season. What's with the lack of sense of urgency? I agree. I don't know. But I'll tell you this much. It's a problem. It's a pattern. You got to be better. John says, happy Houda. Hey, man, listen, you're a Bengals fan, then you ought to be thrilled. That's a damn good football team. It's a team that's good on both sides of the ball. I love the way they're coached. I love watching the quarterback. Higgins and Chase are no joke. If you're a Bengals fan, you should be thrilled to death. Let's see who else we got. Joshua Trey Hendrickson just beat Orlando Brown again. Yeah, he might have, man. He might have. We got to get one guy out of here. He's acting like a clown. I just get him out of here. Listen, I have no problem with anybody coming in here being a Bengals fan or a Chiefs fan, obviously, any fan. You start using language that's demeaning toward people, you're gone. Get the fuck out. D-Train. Matt, did you scream at the TV last night? Yeah, I didn't scream at the TV. I just was I was perplexed more than anything else. Just making it much harder than it needs to be. Ozzy, good game from a Bengals fan. I think our teams have the top 2 QBs in the league. Hey, man. Very well, Mike. I love watching, bro. He's fun to watch. He really is. Alex, do you hope the Chiefs get to play the Bengals in the playoffs? Dude, bro, my God, no. Is it Chiefs fan? You kidding me? No. I don't want to play the Bengals in the playoffs. My God. I mean, if they do, they do. But like, I'm not looking at playing them in the playoff game. I'm not seeking it out. No, I'm all set. Whiplash, Super Chat. Thanks so much, man. Matt, on behalf of the community, thank you for your passion and in-depth knowledge of the league. Seriously, you need your own show. You are the next generation's Jim Rome. Mad respect. Hey, man, thank you very much. Hopefully, unlike Jim Rome, I won't have to fight a quarterback on national television. But thank you. I appreciate that. At least give me like a kicker. Give me a chance. That's awesome. So much for revenge. You're shocked by the lack of effort. I was. I mean, when you come out of the game and Frank Clark's talking about they didn't give enough effort. I mean, I just, you know what? Actually, this is a good spot here to dovetail real quick. I am so far behind in these questions. We're gonna have to go speed round a little bit. So maybe I won't digress as much as I was going to. Okay, let's keep rolling. Actually, here. Casey signing Baker? No. They don't need him. Burrow top 3. Anthony, yeah, I think he probably is. I think he's arguably top 2. How does 3 defensive linemen beat 5 offensive linemen? When your left tackle just decides not to block on the play. And you're confused. That's the other part of it, too. Do you think the safeties are the defense's weakest link on defense? Yes. Their safeties are not good. Okay. Why isn't there a job specifically for time management? I feel like every team should have a contract who specializes in time management. I think the Chiefs should have a guy who holds up a clock that's 20 feet wide and just stands in front of Andy Reid's face every game. And I still think he probably would not be able to figure it out. Ulfric, do you think we need to draft a first-round receiver in the next draft? No, because they could probably get somebody to sign there, and I don't think receivers are their biggest problem. But if they drafted a receiver in the first round, I don't think it's crazy either. Fire Tiger. Appreciate your stream, brother. Houday. Hey, thanks for being here, dude. Really appreciate it. Where do I find the stats for defense in zone versus man? KL. I mean, True Media does a great job with that. But also, a lot of people just watch the film and break it down. Mighty says, I personally think we have the talent, not the defensive coordinator. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. I do not think they live up to the amount of talent they have in defense. There's a lot of teams defensively who would kill for the Chiefs' defensive talent. It's the truth. It's the truth. Alan, is loyalty to coaches holding us back? It's getting predictable. Maybe a little bit. Lucas, not a question, but the Chiefs have the worst turnover differential out of all the current playoff teams, -4. Yeah, I mean, they stink in that regard. They've turned the ball over in 10 of 12 games, and they don't take the ball away because they're terrified to be aggressive. Gary, Matt's the best. He's here even when he's sick. Hey, man, I'm happy to be here. All right. Mighty, non-Chiefs question. Are you still sold on Tua? He's obviously good, but he only played like 2 legit defenses this season. He scored 21-17 against both. I'm sold that he's a lot better. I'm not sold that he's elite. I would put it that way. Chris Albert, how bad are they missing Tooney? Bad. They got beat up. Stacy, should Pat be taking a bit more heat for taking a sack instead of hitting McKinnon on 3rd down? If they drop 8, don't you have to take those throws? I saw the film view. Nate Tice tweeted it out. I think he was a little more covered than we thought he was initially. I would argue that on that play, Orlando Brown just killed that play. I mean, you've got to block, man. Like, you've got to block. So, Orlando Brown ended up 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage on that play. 11 yards. Like, I don't know it's possible. So, look, but that said, on a play like that, I put it more on the coaching staff. On that play. On that specific play. Mahomes does have to get the ball out. I agree with you with that, but I also think on that specific instance, or in that specific instance, like, that should be 4-down territory. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay. Matt, do you think home field advantage makes that much of a difference this year? Yes. Because you get a bye. Yes. Bennett, Houday. Congrats, man. You guys played great. It's always a good game. Hope to see you in the playoffs. Shit, if I was you, I'd hope to see the Chiefs in the playoffs too. They're your little brother right now. I mean, when the players, they do that thing, they celebrate, and like they put their hand down like you're too small. I mean, the Bengals should just do that when the Chiefs come out of the tunnel. The loss was a rough one, but on the bright side is that they had a fumble and a tip pass. They barely lost. Yeah, though, Latrell, and I hear you, and I thank you for being here, man. You're always here. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, Tyler Boyd should have caught a walk-in touchdown pass. He didn't. Like, that happens, right? I mean, a Bengals fan could sit there and say, well, if we have that pass go into the end zone, the Chiefs are trying to tie the game late. They're not trying to win it. Like, every team has a play here and a play there. Every single team. You have to execute. Okay. Is it crazy to trade for safety like Jamal Adams or sign Jesse Bates this offseason? I mean, Jesse Bates would be nice sign. Jamal Adams, I think, is done. David Lewis, the Bengals are a better team. Just face the facts, guys. I disagree with you. You couldn't find one person who would put the Chiefs behind the Bengals in the power rankings. Mahomes is a really good, probably a top 5 quarterback, but he's no Joe Burrow. No, bro, come on, stop it. My God. I mean, see, this is where look, I'm all for having the conversation. The Bengals have the Chiefs number. They're the boogeyman, all that stuff. Okay, go look at a book in Vegas. Who's got higher odds to win the Super Bowl? Who's got a better record right now? Despite playing a harder schedule, by the way. Like, come on. Look, I'm all for Bengals fans being high as hell after that win and being really excited. They damn well should be. But let's stop now. Let's not, you start going from hey, we're right there with you guys. Absolutely. To we're the better team. No, let's just calm down. Let's not go that far. But they own the Chiefs. They own them. The Chiefs absolutely at this point, the Bengals own real estate like nobody's business in Kansas City. All right, let me keep going here, guys. Let me try to catch up. Can we do an Arrowhead Addict at Tunes in Chicago? Would love to see you rage live. God, I really would like not to have rage. Okay. But Tunes is awesome. I've been there. Bengals fan. These games are so freaking close. It's about making a couple plays here and there. It's frustrating to lose closely 3 games in a row. We've lost 5 to the Browns. See you in January. Hey, Adam, spot on. Well put. You guys have a great team. Odella, super chat. Thanks, man. Our offense is overachieved, in my opinion. Our defense needs to improve right away. The Bengals are not great, not bothered by the loss. The Bengals are pretty damn good. The Bengals are really good. Like, I'm not going to sit here and look. I can't stand when like the Chiefs lose a game and opposing fans are like, "That's it, they're terrible." Like, I'm not that guy. That guy to me is annoying as all hell. But it's also not fair to sit there and beat the Bengals are. The Bengals are really good. They just went to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are not the defending AFC champions. The Cincinnati Bengals are, and they went in and they beat the brakes off the Chiefs to do it. Give them credit. Are you, yeah, the Bengals won, but am I wrong for thinking the Bengals are? Yes, you're wrong. The Bengals are really good. The Bengals are a really good football team. Yes, I would say you're wrong. The Bengals are the best receivers in the league. If they don't, they're right up there. I'd say they do. I would say they do. Has Orlando Brown played himself out of Kansas City? Maybe. My guess is he still gets tagged at this point, but it's possible. Do you think the Chiefs will get the 1 seed? Do you think they can beat the best NFC teams? Philly, San Francisco, Dallas. I do think they're going to get the 1 seed. I think they're going to win out. I think the Bills are probably going to lose to Cincinnati, honestly. And I think the Chiefs will find the way but the NFC, yeah, look, they're not losing to Brock Purdy in a Super Bowl. I don't think they'd lose to Dallas. Philly, I think, would be a really interesting game. I think Philly's a better team than the Chiefs, but I think the Chiefs have certain advantages that they could maybe apply if they saw them. All right. V, would you rather the Chiefs play at Buffalo or in KC against Cincy in a playoff game? To me, it doesn't matter, Jalen. They're going to have to win either way. I guess just because it's at home, the Bengals, but like, I'll tell you right now, I'm not lining up to play Cincinnati. The way the Chiefs play against them, I mean, God almighty. It seems to me that at least every game, Pat scrambles and makes a miraculous throw either for a long game or even a touchdown, and then gets thrown a flag for the good old ineligible man downfield. Why? Look, sometimes it's been because like the Bills game, if memory serves, was an RPO, and guys get confused with that because they don't know if it's a run or a pass. This game, I have no idea what the hell they were doing. It's 3rd and 15. You know, like, where are you going? What were you going out to catch a pass in the flat? Like, I don't know. It's attention to details. It is attention to details, guys. The Bengals pay great attention to detail. The Chiefs don't. Eric, how concerned are you with special teams? If 1 was not concerned and 10 was really concerned, I'm at about a 57. Super chat from D-Train. Thanks, man. Matt, love your show. Thanks for the info. You got it. Anytime. Thanks for the support. As a Bills fan, David says, I still think Kansas City and Cincinnati are better on offense, or at least a lot more consistent on offense. I also don't think you guys are losing the rest of the season. I agree. I probably agree with you. Despite all this, we still have 2 left. Against Denver. Yeah. Let's see. Bills and Bengals, best remaining game of the season. Burrow and Allen, they're seeing each other. Yeah, probably. I agree. Super chat from Matt to Matt. Thanks, man. Houday, amazing game. We did lose our tight end in Hurst, so we weren't firing on all cylinders. Thanks for the kind words. Such great games. Hey, listen. Come on. You got to be honest in life. I mean, I never understand when people like can't just face the music with certain things. The Bengals are a really good team. She's the only good team in the league. Like, every time they lose, the fix is in. Like, the Bengals have kicked Kansas City's ass 3 games in a row. The Chiefs are their little brother. The Chiefs are their little brother. They are. The Bengals whip up on them. It's like I always laugh like when Bills fans come and talk a bunch of crap at the Chiefs. Beat them once when it counts. Beat them 1 time. And when they do it, give them credit. And they will do it at some point. But like, to me, you've got to be able to be honest with yourself. The Bengals are a really good football team. Really good team. They didn't have Mixon. They didn't have Hurst yesterday. Now, look, Chiefs, yeah, everybody's missing players this time of year. Okay, Chiefs didn't have Hardman. Didn't have Tony. Like, that's all fair. All fair. Okay? Didn't have Tooney. Both teams were missing guys. Bengals played better. Chiefs did not execute at the level the Bengals did. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Vortex. Hi, I'm a Bengals fan, but I love the content. Keep it up. Thanks, man. Please keep coming around. Okay. Fire Tiger. I'll call it. Bengals and Ravens in the first round. I'll tell you what, man, I'd love to watch that game. I think the Bengals will win the game. But that'd be interesting. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. I'm trying the best I possibly can here to go like just in a line here. Let's see. If you were Veach, what is the first thing you're doing in March? Cutting Frank Clark, saving $19 million. I am restructuring Mahomes' deal, saving another $23 million. I would allow Juan Thornhill to walk. I think he adds something in the secondary, but I think Brian Cook's ready to take that role. I think the other thing is you got to make a decision on Orlando Brown. I'd probably tag him. But I would not sign him long term. And if they don't tag him, I'm not killing the Chiefs for it. Let's see. Thoughts on people bringing up Chris Jones and trade talks? Because people are insane. I mean, I think sometimes both things true at once. Um, I think the Chiefs are the better team. Okay. And guys, by the way, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I think I'm having a little bit of a connection issue. I'm not sure why. I know they're doing road work, so I don't know if that's part of it. They're digging way down deep. Hopefully they didn't hit a line or something. If you have to, I'm on Twitter. I'm still going here. I'm answering all the questions I can find. All right, let's see. We're almost done anyway, guys. We're coming up on it. We're almost here for a full hour. Raiders Nation, bro, you're 5-7. Relax. My God, come on, stop it. All right. Let's see. Non-Chiefs question: where will Lamar Jackson go? I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's staying in Baltimore. If you were to go somewhere, man, I mean, the Jets need a quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback. I mean, there'd be a lot of teams lined up for him, but I don't think he's going anywhere. Okay, let's keep rolling here. How does it? Can you comment on Chris Jones? He's been a ghost in every big game the last 4 years. That's not true, man. He in the Super Bowl. I was there. I talked to Chris Jones after that game, interviewed him in person, right to his face. Chris Jones was a beast in that game in the Super Bowl. And you know what? He's had some other games where statistically he hasn't gone nuts. He's made some big plays. I don't think that's totally fair. All right, let's see. How does a 3-man rush be 5-0 man schematically? Effort, and confusing the offense with some kind of a shift, kind of a different look. Happen. How do you get the line pressure, blitzing, stunts, twists, and defeating blocks? I mean, just flat out defeating blocks. Sometimes it's the way it's got to be. Okay, let's see. The Bengals are beating your internet connection. Yeah, it's the first time it's happened in a long time. Like I said, they are doing a ton of road work. They're drilling away. I don't know what they're doing, if there's some kind of a water issue. So I wonder if maybe they had to disconnect something or move something around. Let's see. All right. Super chat from Morning Man. Thank you, man. Bills Mafia in the house. We're rooting for you until you come see us in Buffalo. Of course, Allen and Mahomes are still the best. That's a lot of fun when they get together. What am I missing in regards to Thornhill? Nothing. Maybe a tackle. Should the Chiefs trade for Eli Apple? Gonzo, go home. No, don't. Mike, stop it. Stop it. All right, guys. I've got all the questions I can. I'm going to get to the Twitter questions quick, and then we're going to wrap it. Let's see here. Eric, how concerned are you with the special teams? Again, 1 to 10, about 57. Why the F didn't they go for it on 4th down at the end of the game? We have Patrick Mahomes. I lost yesterday. Totally agree. Even if they kicked that field goal, what did they think was going to happen? Like, what did they think? If they got the field goal and tied the game, like what? They were all going to like sing Kumbaya together and then get off the field for the first time? I mean, mother of God, like go for it. Go for it. Who is the second most important Chiefs defender? I mean, Chris